All right, welcome to our 60-minute asana class. This is going to be a vinyasa flow class with some holds kind of sprinkled in there so we can focus on alignment. And I'm going to have you guys start by sitting on your block in a supported hero's pose. So you'll have your knees bent with the tops of your feet down beside you, hips distance apart, and then the block lengthwise on its shortest setting, yet underneath your sit bones. And you can always look at your neighbors if you're like, what is she talking about? And so just glance back at your feet. You want your toes pointing directly back behind you, your heels up to the sky so you're not sickling the feet in or out. And the knees can absolutely be separated here. Good. And then just rest your hands on your thighs. Open up your chest a little bit, soften your gaze, or even let your eyes close. And start to breathe in and out of your nose. And without too much force, slow your breathing down. So over time, the breath can work a little deeper into the lower lobes of your lungs. It might even feel like you're breathing into your belly, your pelvic floor. With every breath, the muscles of your jaw, neck, shoulders soften just a bit. And this class is committed to circulating energy back through the body. When we're stressed, when we're busy, this time of year, when we start climbing, running, hiking, being out in the mountains more, our muscles get tight, our joints get stiff, and we stop that flow, even without intending to. And so think of every shape, every transition, every breath, helping you in that process of opening back up. So from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes and your fingertips, the energy moves. Exhale out completely. Inhale your arms out to the sides, up overhead. Feel the sides of your body stretch. Keep that length and exhale, hands together in front of your chest. Take this moment to commit your practice to something. Something that anchors you in the present moment for these next 60 minutes. And then slowly, intentionally, meaningfully release your hands and make your way to standing at the top of your mat with the block at the front of your mat, but off of it. We'll come back to it later. And have your feet about hips distance apart. Toes point forward, knees point forward. And then ground down through the base of your big toes. Think of a line of energy moving to the inner heel, ground down through the inner heel. Line across the top of the foot to the pinky toe. And then down the outer foot to the outer heel. Lift your toes up so you feel the weight come over the arch. And then rest the toes down and spread your pinky toes out to the left and the right. So this is going to feel a little funky, but you'll feel your lower leg muscles turn on, and it's like it gives you this seesaw effect of squeezing your shins in towards each other. You can keep that and soften the pinky toes. Micro bend the knees, so you can't even see it, but yeah, it gives you that sense of top of the shins forward. And then bring the top of your thighs back, so it's going to be a little bit of like fanning out. So it's like the inner thighs go back, pubic bone goes back. And then maintain that. Think of bringing your knees out so they stack over the ankles. We're going to spend just a little bit of time here and then we'll move into the flow. Breastbone down. And then lift the head of your arm bones up. Keep the elevation, bring them back, bring your head back, and then squeeze the bottom tips of your shoulder blades together, palms come to face forward. So here's your alignment. A few deep breaths here. You guys stay in your shape. And then we'll move through 3 rounds of Sorya Namaskar. Inhale your arms up overhead, palms press. Keep the thighs back as you exhale, hinge from the hips and fold forward. Hands can come onto your block if you need. Nice, we'll spend a few breaths here. Chin to chest, so you relax the back of your neck. Maybe bend one knee and then the other. Lift one hip and then the other. And the nice thing about putting your hands on the block this early in the practice is you can straighten the legs and keep that sensation of thighs back, pubic bone back. So you get a deeper hamstring stretch. Exhale completely. Inhale, lift halfway. Spine parallel to the floor. Exhale, hands down, step or hop back to plank pose, on or off your knees. Hands are more or less under the shoulders. If you've got strong shoulders, wide shoulders, bring the hands a little wider, maybe even mat's distance apart. Ground down through base of the index finger. Excellent. Keep your hips where they are, push the thigh bones up to the sky. Yes, reach back through your heels. Breathe in, exhale, slowly lower to the mat. Untuck your toes and scoot your feet wide, wider than you're used to. So you're accommodating the width of your pelvis here. Yes, tops of the toes, our toes rather, point straight back. And then inhale, scoop forward and up. Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. Stay here as you exhale. Recommit to grounding down through the base of the index finger. Shoulders up, head of the arm bones back, bottom tips of shoulder blades together. Really nice. And then breastbone down to the belly button. So it's almost like someone's about to punch you in the stomach and you're like bracing. Good. Exhale, slowly lower down. Try to keep the tops of the feet down if that's okay. And then do 3 more on your own breath. There we go. Nice. Stay grounded through the hands. So having a proper foundation, a settled foundation, is going to let that energy move freely and not get trapped in places like the wrists, the forearms, the elbows, the shoulder joint. And it doesn't matter how high up you go. You know, just be where your body needs to be. That's where you get 100% of the benefit. Curl your toes under. Pretend you're in plank here on the floor, so activate leg muscles, core muscles, shoulder girdle. And then inhale from knees or toes, float up to plank. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Add some movement here if you need, pedal out the knees. Recommit to that grounding in the hands. And then bend both knees so you can reach the inner thighs back, pubic bone back. You're bringing the lumbar curve back into your spine. Maintain that and then start to straighten the legs. And they don't have to go all the way straight, but what matters is that lumbar curve. And then breastbone down to the belly button, so you're not collapsing through the middle back as you maintain lumbar curve. These look great. Exhale completely, hopper step to the top of the mat, forward fold where you've been before. Feet, your preferred foundation. Inhale, lift halfway, long spine like you're stretching it out of the hips. Exhale, fold. Keep the thighs back, the spine straight as you inhale, rise up to standing, arms overhead, so you'll feel the hamstrings work. Palms press. Exhale, hands together in front of your heart. And then just check in with the foundation of your feet, hug in of the shins, thighs back, breastbone down, chest open, head back. And as you feel ready, do 2 more rounds of Sorya Namaskar A on your own. So you can stick with Cobra, you can go to upward facing dog, you can modify, do whatever you need. Just stay committed to your breath. Think of energy flowing through the body. And maybe spending a little extra time circulating in the places that feel like it needs more attention. Nice. Head of the arm bones back. That's And spend 2 or 3 breaths in downward facing dog before you make your way back up. Spread your fingers wide and turn your hands out just there. So you can really get this card.
Okay.
Yeah. And then shoulder blades. There we go. And anytime you need to add in a handstand, Jackie, go for it. And there's no rush, again. Whenever you've completed those 2 rounds, we'll meet standing in Tadasana, mountain pose. You can have your hands at your heart or arms down by your side. Whatever allows you to tune in and feel connected. And then check back in with your foundation. Inhale, arms up. So you exhale, circle the right wrist and side body stretch over to your left. Left hand gently pulls not just the right arm, but that whole right side body up and out of the hip. So from the pelvis down to the feet, you're grounded. From the pelvis up through both sides of the body, you're open and expansive. Inhale, float up through center, switch the grip, and exhale, opposite side. Big breaths into that side body. Stay here for a few more. So those low ribs in, that's the idea of breastbone down, and that's going to actually give you more space in the rib cage. Inhale, float up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, fold to the floor. Utkatasana. Bend your knees enough to plant your right hand underneath your nose, and inhale your left arm out and up to the side as you straighten your left leg as much as you can. You can even play with reaching that left hip back in space towards the back of the mat. And long open line of energy from one palm across your chest to the other. And you're opening up the chest by holding the shoulder blades a little closer together on the spine. So yeah, you're not disconnecting through the shoulder joint. You're actually strengthening the upper back to find more freedom in the chest. One more inhale. Exhale, bend the knee, left hand down to replace the right. Inhale, right arm up, right leg straightens. Maintain that open line of energy across the chest horizontally, and then find another line from your throat to the center of your pelvic floor. Continue to breathe. The breath is how we stay grounded, no matter what shape we're in, on the mat or in the world. One more inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees so your hips go low. Keep the hips low and inhale, arms up overhead, vertical spine, Utkatasana. Have to remember my words here. And then stay in fierce pose, often called chair pose, but I don't think that's really fair. And then arms down in front of you, kind of like a sleepwalker. Have a little bend in the elbows, and then armpits up, head of the arm bones back, bottom tips of the shoulder blades together, and then arms up. And see if that gives you a little bit more freedom to bring your head back in space. Breastbone down, so you've got that core engagement. Inhale, lift up onto the toes. Exhale, lower. Do this just twice more with your breath. Really nice. Yes. And then lower the heels. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway, long spine. Exhale, hands down, hopper step back to plank. Move through a connecting vinyasa so we can meet in down dog. And you can absolutely always skip these, go straight to down dog. Remember that grounding through the hands so you can channel energy more clearly through the body rather than getting it stuck in the joints. Really nice. Inhale, right leg up to the sky. Keep the back of the pelvis level. Exhale, right foot forward, inside of the right thumb. All 10 toes face forward, crescent lunge setup. So here, squeeze the inner thighs together, activate your core, and then inhale, float up with the arms up overhead. Lovely, and adjust your feet if you need to. If you feel too spread apart, lengthwise or widthwise, you can make those adjustments. Nice, sit a little deeper in the front knee and really empower the left thigh. Inhale, lift up through the heart, add a little back bend. Exhale, left hand down inside of the right foot, and inhale, the right arm out and up. Dragonfly twist. And even though there's not a lot of pressure in your left hand, think of grounding it adequately, finding that open space through the chest. Inhale here. Exhale, right hand down outside of the right foot. Straighten the right leg. And then step your left foot forward to the top of the mat a little bit, of like a foot, and bring your left heel in and down for pyramid pose. So your left foot's at something like a 45-degree angle. Your heels can be in the same line, but they don't have to be. And keep anchoring your right hip back so you stay long through that right side body. And with every exhale, melt your heart towards your thigh. You don't have to force it down. Just let it move naturally. And even if it's not physically moving, energetically things are changing, opening, and adjusting. Ryan, you can turn your left foot out just a hair more. Yeah, perfect. Keep your feet in this placement, bend the front knee. And inhale, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, interlace fingers at the tailbone. So you can keep the elbows bent. The palms don't have to press if this is really tight in the chest. Remember, you want to stay open here. Moving into humble warrior. Inhale, open the heart up to the sky, maybe gaze up. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Bring your right shoulder inside of the right knee and chin towards the chest so the crown of the head reaches towards the floor. Yeah, so you're looking back at your left foot. Nice. Keep that bend in the front knee, and at the same time, nice adjustment, Jackie, reach the right hip back towards your left ankle. So you're not just letting your body lean out to the right. Hug the inner thighs together. With strength, inhale, rise back up into a back bend, maybe gaze up. Exhale, release the hands down to the floor. Step back to plank pose, connecting vinyasa to down dog. Okay, so the index finger down. That's it. And find that strength through the middle back. Good, while you maintain lumbar curve. These look really nice. Inhale, left leg up to the sky, reach long. Exhale, foot inside of the thumb. Prepare your foundation, your connection to your center, and then inhale, rise up, crescent. Nice. As you exhale, find the balance, feel the work. Shoulder blades are connected, and at the same time, here they're not just going to be pinned right to the spine. They're going to have to move out away from the spine just a hair to get the arms a little straighter. But what matters is the sides of the neck are long, and you feel like you can breathe. Inhale, lift up, little heart opener. Exhale, right hand down inside of the left foot. Inhale, left arm out and up. Nice, stay grounded through the left big toe. Strong through that back thigh. Head back, like you're drinking from a waterfall. Inhale deep in the twist. Exhale, left hand down outside of your foot, straighten the left leg and walk the right foot in a bit for pyramid pose. So then that right foot comes at something like a 45-degree angle. Continue to reach the left hip back. And the left leg is just as straight as you can get it. This is another nice place to bring the block underneath your hands. So you can work towards getting the legs straight. Just because that'll deepen the hamstring stretch if you can get the leg a little straighter. And try and find your lumbar curve in this. So yeah. And notice how that changes the stretch. Your lumbar curve is like this magical instrument. It will just give you a lot of what you need as far as energetic freedom through the body. Nice. Awesome breathing. On your next exhale, bend the front knee, stay grounded through the right heel, and inhale, rise up, Virabhadrasana A, Warrior One. Exhale, fingers interlace, maybe non-dominant grip this time at the tailbone. Open up through the chest, feel the muscles of the upper back working to hold the shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift the heart up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, humble warrior, shoulder inside of the knee. One day, crown of the head rests on the floor inside of your ankle. I know you're like, how is that possible? And then maybe knuckles reach up to the sky, maybe up overhead towards the front of your mat. But again, just working with your shoulder mobility, there's nothing to force. If you're at your boundary, you're changing your boundary. Just breathe inside of it. Feel that power through your legs, connection through the core. Inhale, rise up into the back bend. Maybe gaze up to the ceiling. Exhale, release the hands, bring them down to the floor, connecting vinyasa to down dog. Nice, and just checking with that foundation of the hands. Good. Base of the fingers down. Don't rest on the wrists. So index knuckle down, you can do it. There, nice. Exhale, completely hop or step to forward fold at the top of your mat. Nice. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Heel toe your feet out max distance apart and then turn the toes out, preparing for Malasana, Yogi squat. Bend your knees and sway your hips left and right. So you slowly make your way down into a squatting position. And it might feel nicer to keep it moving, like lifting on opposite heel and toe. Otherwise, you can come into stillness with hands together at the heart. One's not better than the other. Just do whatever feels right in your body. Nice, think of lifting the arches of the feet up while staying grounded through the base of the big toes. And then imagine that I have my hands on your outer thighs and push your outer thighs into my hands. So it's not just your arms that are opening up through the outer hip, it's also that your musculature. Nice open line of energy across the chest. Really good. And breathe. And then as you exhale, hands down, chin to chest. Inhale, lift your hips up so you're in forward fold. Exhale, heel toe feet back to Utkatasana. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, bend the hips, or to bring the hips low, excuse me. And then inhale, rise, fierce pose, Utkatasana. And if you need to, bring the arms out in front of you so you can set the shoulders and then bring the arms up. Remember to keep the low ribs down towards the belly button so you're strong through the mid-back while you maintain lumbar curve. And then moving into figure 4 Utkatasana. Ground down through the right foot, get light on the left. Inhale, left knee up. Exhale, ankle across the bottom of the right thigh. Nice, you can stay right here, or to deepen the outer hip stretch, bring your booty back and the torso forward, towards parallel with the floor. So you guys stay here, I'm gonna come out of it. Nice, and breathe into that outer hip and make little micro adjustments with your body to deepen the stretch. So you find what you need to circulate the energy and open up. And maybe it's all about maintaining the balance, that's also okay. Inhale, lift the torso up. Exhale, fierce pose. Ground down through that left foot, get light on the right toes. Inhale, right knee up. Exhale, opposite side. Move into it at your own pace. Nice. And with single leg balancing in particular, it's the big toe mound of the grounded foot that's going to give you the most wobbles. So commit to being grounded there. Inner heel, pinky toe mound, outer heel. Really good work. Inhale, rise up, vertical spine, vertical-ish spine. Exhale, fierce pose. Breath here. Exhale, fold, straighten the legs, let it go. Heel toe the feet in together to touch, and bend your knees. That might be required with the legs closer together. And then actually do bend the knees here, whether or not you need to. So you can lift your heels up off the floor, separate the knees out to the left and the right, the toes will turn out a bit too, and lower your hips towards your heels. And then come light on the fingertips, maybe you reach them out in front of you, can stay here, or you can play with Bhujangasana, crow pose. So hands will come down, the grounding really matters, base of the index finger. You might want to lift the hips up a little bit to bring your inner knee as high on the upper arm as you can. You'll lean forward and maybe the toes lift. Maybe they don't. Nice. Yeah, and if you have the lift, squeeze your feet together, your inner feet together. So that's your midline connection, and you'll actually feel it help you lift the pelvic floor up towards the belly button. That's awesome. From here, if you feel compelled to put your head in the dirt, chin to chest, maybe move into headstand. Yes. And then from headstand or back down into crow, shoot back to chaturanga. Really nice. Into connecting vinyasa. And so to help get out of the wrist pain with all the weight bearing, it's really going to come down to grounding down through the L pad of the hands and connecting the shoulder blades on the back. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Exhale, right foot inside of the thumb. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. So you exhale, circle the left wrist with the right hand and side body stretch over to the right. Nice, head back. Inhale, rise up, vertical spine. Exhale, hands down to frame the foot, and then bring your left heel in and down for warrior 2 feet. So your left foot will point out to the left. Heel to heel alignment this first time, unless you know heel to arch alignment works for you. Both hands inside of the right foot, and then walk your hands over to the diagonal. So it's kind of like your hands, your torso are in downward facing dog, while your legs stay in warrior 2. Really stick your butt out. So think of your inner thighs moving back, like we worked on at the beginning of class. Keep especially your left thigh back, and then scoop your right sit bone underneath you. So there's a lot happening inside the hip joint here. And then walk your hands back towards the front of the mat. Don't let that power in the legs change at all. Right hand on top of the right thigh. And then left arm out in front of you like you're pressing down onto a slab. Armpit up to the ear, head of the arm bone back, and then flip the palm, the whole arm to face up, and then bring it up overhead, bicep in line with the ear. Nice, head back. Good. Arm as straight as you can get it. And then fill out the mid-back. So low ribs in and down while you maintain lumbar curve. That looks really nice. Yes. And inhale to straighten your right leg as slowly as you can, moving into Trikonasana, triangle pose. So right hand will come outside of the right foot. Maybe onto the block might feel nice if you're having a hard time straightening the leg today. It just gives you more space to keep both sides of your body long. Head back. Keep thinking of scooping the right sit bone under as you keep the left thigh bone back. Inhale here. Exhale, left hand to left hip. Bring your gaze down to your foot. Moving into Arda Chandrasana, balancing half moon. Bend the front knee. Plant your hand about 12 inches in front of the foot. Yes, lift up that back leg. Push it up. And then maybe gaze comes up. Maybe arm comes up. Any variations you're always welcome to take here. So it can feel tough to lift the leg, so think of pushing the inner thigh away from you. Yeah, and really activate that left leg, left foot, rather. Lovely bubblies, one more inhale. Exhale, bend the front knee, land back in warrior two with chest up, arms out to the front and the back of the mat. Nice, inhale here. Exhale, hands down, connecting vinyasa to down dog, really nice work. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left foot down in between the hands. All 10 toes face forward. Inhale, float up, crescent. Exhale, circle your right wrist and side body stretch to the left. Open line across the chest, from the throat to the pelvic floor. And stay bent in that front knee. Good, powerful back leg. Inhale up to vertical. Exhale, hands down. Right heel in and down so you have your warrior 2 feet. And then both hands inside of the left foot, out to the diagonal a bit. There you go. And really stretch long through both sides of your body so you can walk your hands forward so that way it's like you're in downward facing dog through the torso a bit more. And then think inner thighs back, pubic bone back. Keep that and scoop the left sit bone underneath. So you get more external rotation through that front leg. That's what we're looking for. And then walk your hands back to the front of the mat. Left hand on the left thigh. Right arm out in front of you. And then armpit up to the ear, head of the arm going back. Flip the arm up to bring it up overhead. You could lift up a little bit more, Jay, through the, yeah, there you go. And then you can actually bring your forearm down so that way you've got more space here. Really nice. Breathe in through the whole right side of the body. Inhale to straighten the front leg. Keep it muscularly engaged. And as you exhale, move into Trikonasana, triangle pose. With or without a block, you might need one on this side, even if you didn't on the other. And use your breath to help find those passages. Sometimes we have to work hard to forge a path. And so you don't have to force your breath, but maybe it's deeper, more powerful than you're used to. Inhale. Exhale, right hand to right hip. Bring your gaze down and move into balancing half moon on this side. And you can bring your block with you to bring your hand on the block. block out in front of your left big toe. Remember to push the inner thigh away to get that lift. Yes. Nothing wrong with bending the left knee if that's what you need. Think of scooping the left sit bone underneath you, even here. Really nice work. And breathe. Breathing is how we imprint the shape on our body. One more breath in. Exhale, bend the front knee to land in warrior two. Nice, powerful breath here. Fill out the mid-back. And exhale, hands down, connecting vinyasa. Stay grounded through base of the index fingers as you move. And exhale, hopper step to the top of the mat, forward fold. Nice. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Heel toe your feet together. And then bend your knees so you can lift your heels up. And this time, knees stay together as you bend the knees even more, bring the hips all the way down. So we've got a few different options. You can move into this different variation of toe stand where you'll come to balance. And then the trick is to point the knees down. Like if you had some bouncy balls in your lap, they would roll forward off your thighs onto the mat. And then you can bounce a little bit just to bring some power into your knees. If you want to move into Utkatasana, side crow, you'll turn one direction or the other. Elbow will come down outside of the front knee. You'll plant your hand from there. And then that's going to give you the direction of where the other hand will go. So other hand will come out at a diagonal, a 45-degree diagonal, about shoulder distance apart. From there, you'll lift up so you can straighten the arms, and then you'll bend them again like you're going to come into Chaturanga over here on this diagonal, and then maybe both legs lift up. Yeah, and both legs don't have to come up for you to be in the arm balance. You just play with getting as light as you can. Take a few breaths in, of course add any variations that you want, and then switch over to the other side. And if you're like, forget this, I don't want to do it, just stay in the toe balance. Nice, ground down through base of the index finger. Yes, really nice. Awesome. Excellent. And then when you're done, return to the toe balance. So keep a hug to midline. Even if your feet are separated, that's okay. Just more important to keep that energetic hug to midline, heels lifted, and then as slowly as you can, rise up to standing. If that's not good for the knees, find a different way. Nice. And then lower the heels down, arms down. Just take a breath or two here. Let it go. Nobody is more awesome or special because they can do side crow, even though it's a cool trick. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward, heart to the mat. Bend your knees, inhale, rise up, fierce pose, Utkatasana. So you exhale, ground down through the right foot, get light on the left, and return to figure four where we've been before. So here you've got a number of options. You can stay, just have my foot on the rock, in the outer hip stretch. You can come into Malasana, arm balance, if you want it. If you want to play with Dragonfly, Maxi-Kanagāsana, you'll move into a twist. So you'll twist so the opposite outer upper arm is on the sole of panel that we set up for side crow. You'll bend like you're moving towards chaturanga, so you're effectively standing on your outer arm, and then maybe that bottom leg lifts and straightens. So, oh my gosh, take your time, play with each side, and maybe today's just for the outer hip stretch. And one hip might be more accessible than the other for either of those arm balances. Nice, Jay. Yeah, and then adjust so you're not putting your hands in the dirt. Nice. And when you've played with both sides, you feel satisfied, there is no rush whatsoever. We'll meet standing at the top of your mat. Nice work. It's very hard. Yeah. Yeah, Dragonfly is like a deep twist, side body opener, deep outer hips. It's everything that is hard. Nice, John. Wow. Ooh. And the nice thing is you get all the benefits whether or not, you actually got into the pose. If you're progressing towards it, that's all you need. All right, ground your feet, heart open, connected through the core. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold to the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, hands down, plant them firmly, and hop or step back into a connecting vinyasa. To me, in down dog. Inhale, right leg to the ceiling. Exhale, bring it forward for pigeon pose. So knee behind the right ankle. Yeah, and the shin can be parallel. That's a lot of pressure on the knee. It just requires a lot of outer hip opening. So I like to bring that right leg at a diagonal, exactly like Jay and Jackie are doing. Nice, and you can stay up on the hands here. And actually, let's all stay up here for a minute just so we can reconnect through opening up the chest. Hug the inner thighs to midline, and then maybe move down to the forearms, or you can bring your forearms on a block. But wherever you're at, breathe into the outer hip. And you can even bring the block underneath your right hip if you wanted some support there. And the next 2 or 3 breaths, rise back up and make your way to downward facing dog to switch at your own pace. Again, stay committed to your breath, to your original intention and the intention of the class to open up the energetic pathways in your body. And then whenever you're ready, you can move into the opposite side. And setting yourself up. And the setup might look different. Knees and hips are usually different side to side. It's okay to work with that reality. take your time to move into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, walk your hands to the top of the mat to find forward fold. Just starting to slow down, so we're going to take some of the dynamism out of the flow. And bend your knees enough that you can slide your hands underneath your feet. Your palms and soles of feet facing each other, fingers point to the back of the mat. Toes rest in your wrist crease. And then straighten the legs just as much as you can keep your lumbar curve in, your shoulder blades connected. If it's comfortable, let your chin move to your chest so you look back between your knees. If that's too much on the upper back though, keep the gaze down. And then as you exhale, bend your knees to come all the way into a seat. And you can find a bound angle position or a cross-legged seat for just a moment. Just got 2 more shapes left. I'm just going to roll in the dirt. So we're going to do, the name of it is escaping me, but essentially we're going to do a forward fold with our spines on the mat. So we're going to come into something like plow pose, and then you'll use your hands to hold onto your feet, and you're going to try and keep this grip as you roll down through the spine as much as you can to help you straighten out the legs this way. And this is just a different way to stretch the back of your legs and your spine. So it's a little different from Malasana and other things that we've done. So roll down onto your mat, hug your knees into your chest. And then you can use a little bit of, motion to bring the legs up overhead. Reach your arms around to hold onto your ankles. And then try to hold your feet there more or less. Nothing wrong with the bend in the elbows. And roll down towards your sacrum. And it's just like you're trying to get as much of your spine down on the mat as you can while you'll hold your feet as close to the floor as you can. So it's all about balanced action. It doesn't need to look any specific way. You breathe into the places that need support. And then exhale, just slowly release, hug your knees towards your chest so you can roll back up into a seat. To move back into Virasana, where we started the class, with or without the block underneath your sit bones. So hero's pose. Very nice. Awesome. Yeah, and the knees can separate a few inches apart. You don't want them to be wider than hips distance apart, but there can be a gap there for sure. Alright, moving into Chandrasana, heron pose. Lean over to your right a little bit so that way you can straighten out the left leg. You can bring the left leg straight in front of you. And this can just help you reassess the grounding through the sit bones. And check in with the position of your right foot. And then hug your left knee towards your chest. And you're going to cross the ankles to hold on to the inner and outer edges of the feet. Yes. And then here, see if you can open up the chest, lengthen through the spine. And then bring the foot forward. And you just bring it towards straight. It may or may not get there. Awesome. And then bring your right hand to the inside of the left foot. So you can use your left hand to come underneath your thigh, so you're holding onto your inner thigh. And what we're doing is a self-assist with some internal rotation. So pull your hamstrings out to the side. You'll feel your sit bone broaden. See if you can get the leg a little straighter, and then keep holding your inner thigh in that rotation, and scoop the left sit bone underneath. And then you can stay there, or you can return to the original grip. Eventually, elbows bend to help you lift the leg up higher. Oof. One day, your shin comes up to your forehead, or so I've heard. Keep lifting up through the heart, but don't just lift up through the chest. Point the pubic bone down so the whole spine lengthens. This is our peak posture. Soft breath. And then as you exhale, bend the knee to come out of it. And it might feel nice to just move that knee in some circles. And then once more, lean over to the right, so return to hero pose. Do you want your ball? And then lean over to the left. So you can switch sides. Straighten that leg out just for a moment. So you can resituate your sit bones. And then bend the knee in towards your chest. Cross at the ankles, at the wrists, to hold on to the foot. And then open up the chest, lengthen the spine, extend the leg forward, and then maybe towards straight. And just noticing where you're at right here. Lovely. Left hand comes to the inside of the foot. So you can use the right hand to come underneath the thigh towards the inner thighs and pull the inner thighs down and back. Let that broaden your sit bone. Maybe the leg goes straighter right here. And then keep that grip and scoop the sit bone back under. So you maintain the inner rotation of the thigh while you narrow the sit bone. And you can stay just like this or return back to our more standard hold. Keep trying to lift up through the heart by maintaining lumbar curve. Stay in your shape. Try to work with that open line of energy across the chest. Really nice. Take 3 more rounds of breath. At the bottom of that third breath, bend your knee into your chest, turn the foot down to the floor, and then maybe move your right knee around in some circles, just work a little deeper into the hip joint. And then this time, lean over to the right to release your left leg, both legs long. And then if you need to hug your knees into your chest to roll down onto your back, you can. Otherwise, nice and slow with the core engaged, roll down onto your mat. And then here, take a moment to align your body. So if it feels like you're leaning to the left or the right, shift your shoulders so they're directly over the hips. Shoulder blades under your body. Toes relax out to the left and the right. And either a soft gaze or eyes closed. For Shavasana. Nothing to do, nothing to focus on. And keeping your eyes closed, your muscles as relaxed as possible. Become aware of the sense of circulation inside of your body. And maybe for you today, that's simply the blood flow. Or maybe you're interested in the energetic body and you're tapping into the sense of pranic circulation. What feels lighter, more open? What still feels dense? Yoga is a lifelong practice of self-awareness. We learn how to be a witness without judgment. These things aren't good or bad or right or wrong. They just are. And then we can move forward into the world with that awareness. And that's how we act more meaningfully, more intentionally. Take your time. Keep your eyes closed. Move up into a seated position. Excuse me. And if you'd like, hands together at your heart, otherwise resting your palms down on your thighs. And take a few moments to acknowledge what you can do for yourself on a daily basis to maintain the opening that you achieved in this practice. We don't do yoga to get better at yoga. We do it to engage the most meaningful way that we can with our lives and to give our lives meaning. Yoga is simply a tool that helps with that. So thank you so much for being here, for supporting me. And have a great evening. I no longer say namaste. That is the end of our practice.